Welcome to the We Buy Houses podcast with our host, Brian Spitz, president of Big State Homebuyers, leading the seamless approach to real estate investing in Houston since 2005. Brian's specialty in this large wholesale operation is facilitating real estate solutions for people wanting to sell quickly. Each week, we discuss the ins and outs of wholesale real estate investing and related topics by professionals who matter. And now, here's Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian Spitz, president of Big State Homebuyers. We are Houston's leading company for buying houses fast. And today we're talking with Marilyn Satter, who has the company Organize My World. The website is organizemyworld.com, and she is a specialist in helping people get organized, getting prepared for a move, after a move, just organizing their space, and also has some experience with hoarding. And so we wanted to welcome you to our podcast today, and also talk a little bit about what you do, and the first topic would be hoarding.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me. As you said, I'm Marilyn from Organize My World. Hoarding is rather interesting. It's a very small percentage of the population, but it does get a lot of publicity.
Yeah.
Hoarding basically is people that keep items that have no value, no intrinsic value. Mm-hmm. And also, when these items start taking over their home and the rooms are not being able to be used as they were meant to be, if you can no longer sleep in your bed because it's so cluttered in there, for instance, and then also when it starts making your life very stressful, and when it starts impacting your life in different ways, that is when you can start thinking about a hoarding situation.
Right. So a lot of people, of course, the TV shows and all of that get a lot of publicity, and people get really interested in it. You know, we buy properties from people who, one segment of the population would be people who really can't sell it on the open market because of the stuff or the condition, or they've gotten to that point over time. So, you know, are you usually, and we're oftentimes contacted by a family member, not just the seller. And I think I asked you this once before, but do you have, you know, family members contact you, or how does that work? Who makes the initial contact when somebody wants help with that?
Yes, many times I will have the family members contact me, and they'll say, you know, Mom's in the home and she's a hoarder and we need to get help for her. Can you come over and help us? And most of the time when that happens, I have to speak to the person that is in the home first before I can do that, because it's too traumatic to just go in there and tell them that they have to get rid of all their stuff. And so I like to work with them first and find out, you know, how, you know, available they will be, and you know, how much they'll be involved in the situation. So,
right.
Yeah.
What other character traits do you think usually, I mean, it's a mental disorder, you know, hoarding, at least that's what I understand. I could be wrong.
Well, it's
an anxiety condition.
A lot of it is psychological. Mm-hmm. So you have to be very gentle with them and working with them, and try and be very understanding. And if it's a very bad hoarding situation, myself as a professional organizer, I would prefer to, or sometimes even insist on, working along with the therapist at the same time, because it's too difficult for them emotionally to go through the process. But I'm there physically to help them, and a therapist would be there to help them psychologically.
And you've had experience doing that?
Occasionally, yes.
That's interesting. And so, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being something on a TV show and 1 being I have a disorganized office, where do most of your clients fall?
99% of my clients are just basically disorganized and need some help getting back on track.
Right.
Yeah, it's very, very small, very small percentage
of the population
that I would work with also. That would be a hoarding situation. Most of the time it's just people that need help getting their lives back on track, or getting their office more organized, or their home more organized.
Yeah. You ever watched the TV show? Have you ever seen that Hoarding TV show?
Yes, I have. And it's painful to watch it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that we do different than our competitors, we buy property, but we really try to look at the problem that's behind the reason someone is selling. And so, the TV show scenarios, to that extent, we see it. I mean, I have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And then things that are close to that, where a child has lived in the family home after the parents moved out and they've destroyed, collected, and animals have destroyed the house and all of those things. And so it's a very common reason for people to call us. I think you'd be a great resource for some of our clients because a lot of them, may not be in that scenario, but they have to move.
Right.
Or they have stuff to go through, and that's a very daunting task for people.
Yes, and it would be a better idea if somehow they could go through the items before they sold rather than being forced out of the home.
Right.
Right.
So do you work with a lot of people that are in the position where they're ready to sell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I wonder what makes people think to contact you. What do you think?
I think most of the time people contact me out of frustration.
Right.
And they just, they're frustrated and they say, I just can't do it by myself. So
right.
I get in there and it's just, sometimes just having another person there makes a huge difference.
Right.
But also having my expertise along with being there physically and working with them. And I also am there to teach them. And set up systems for them so that when they get to their new home or when their office is or their home is presentable again or organized again, that they can keep it that way. So I try and give them systems so that they can, and teach them along the way so that they can keep their homes
right.
In order.
Well, so I think there's something that you and I have in common there is that we are comfortable helping people or dealing with situations where people have that too much stuff, regardless of what that stuff is.
Absolutely.
So,
I love working with people. It's so much fun, and my job is amazing.
And I think that my experience is a lot of times people think that they're embarrassed by it, or they don't want people to come. They'll hesitate even having us come see the house because they're embarrassed that the stuff is everywhere. There's too much, and usually it's not even nearly as bad as people think that it is. I don't know if you find that in your experience
all
as well.
the time. I'll go in and I'll say, "Oh, this is the worst thing you've ever seen," and I'll say, "No, not by a long shot."
No,
yeah.
me neither.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you have a property that you have an interest in selling, BigStateHomebuyers.com is a company that we will provide you a free quote. We'll come out, take a look at the property, let you know what's best for you. We offer different solutions, and we'll also tell you if selling to us is not your best option. You can visit us anytime at BigStateHomebuyers.com and receive a free quote on your house within 24 hours, any condition, regardless of what's inside. And you can visit with Marilyn about moving, organizing, staging, or any of those needs, whether you're going to work with us or whether you're going to put your house on the market. And again, we can reach you at organizemyworld.com.
Yes.
And your telephone number?
Is 281-782-5555.
Excellent. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Brian.
You've been listening to We Buy Houses with your host, Brian Spitz, president of Big State Homebuyers. Don't forget to visit our website, BigStateHomebuyers.com, for more information on how to sell your house. We pay $500 for referrals, so tell your friends too.